All right, 4th and 5th graders, we're going to make tessellations, and there's 3 different kinds that I'm going to show you. There's easy, medium, and hard. So we'll start with easy. And for the easy one, really you just start with any tessellating shape. That just means a shape that'll repeat over and over without any wasted space. And a rectangle or a square is a good place to start. So we're going to use this old library cards. They're kind of thicker, and we'll just recycle them. So the easiest tessellation you can do is you cut out any old shape on one side and then you just slide it down to the other side. So I'll go ahead and just cut out some funky shape here. And I don't know what I'm making yet. We'll figure it out once I tape it on. Alright, so there I take my shape and I don't rotate it, I don't flip it or anything. I just slide it across. And if you want it to make a nice straight line, like your design to go perfectly straight across, then what you need to do is make sure that this is taped exactly along the same line of where you cut it. But if you don't really care about that, you could also tape it higher or lower, and it will just make your design stagger. It'll kind of go up or down depending. So what you're going to do is just tape that on. And I'm going to use these old labels because I'm running low on tape. So for this one I did not do it in line, I just did it staggered, and we'll see how that looks. Alright, so I've got my piece, my tessellating shape, and I'm just going to start to trace it. And it doesn't really matter where you start on the paper. You can do it, start in the top corner, you can go in the middle. It shouldn't really matter because everything should connect together with no wasted spaces. Alright, so there I traced it one time. So now I need to trace it the next time. And if I had taped this perfectly straight, then my design would go perfectly straight across my paper like that. But I didn't. I staggered it. So I'm going to go ahead and just slide it up like that, fit it into that space, and then trace again. So it'll just be like a repeating tile. And so you'll fill up your paper with your tessellating shape, and once you do, which I won't do that right now just because of time, you're going to look at your design and think, what could that be? And maybe it's nothing and you just decide to color each shape a different color. But you could also look at this and think like, oh man, this one is a funky one. Maybe you could turn it into, let's see, if I turn it, does it look like something else? I could turn this into like a funky little dude who has a big nose and a mouth and a mustache. And I could do that on each one, turn it into a different weird face. Or, like I said, you could just do red, blue, and make your pattern that way. But I want you to fill the whole paper. Ooh, actually it looks like a cow. I see a cow. Now that I look at it again. With like horns. Haha, cool. Okay, so I could do a whole bunch of cows, and then I could like even give them spots. Different ones, different colors. So there you go. Get the idea. So that's the easiest one. Now let's move on to our medium. So if that's too easy for you, you can try this one. And this is where you cut on not just one side, but you cut on 2 sides. So we'll start the same way we did before. We have a tessellating shape, a rectangle. And we're gonna, whoopsies. We're gonna slide it across. And for this one, remember how I said the first one, it doesn't matter if you stagger it? For this one, it does matter. So when you slide your shape up, you really wanna make sure that you tape it perfectly across, as close as you can. It's okay if it's slightly off, you just wanna do your best. So we're gonna go ahead and tape this one on. And then we're going to do the other side. So we can cut out a shape right here. And again, I'm not flipping it, I'm not rotating it, I'm just going to slide it directly across to the other side. and tape it there. All right, now let's see if it tessellates. So I can go ahead and just do it right in the middle of my paper if I want. That's totally fine. Or I can start in a corner. It's whatever you want to do. If we did it correctly, it shouldn't matter because it will all connect. So now, oopsies, tape got in the way there. I'm going to slide it over, and because this one I put it perfectly, I lined it up perfectly, it should tessellate like in straight lines across and up and down. So my other one kind of staggered and went diagonally. This one should not. It should kind of just stay in nice straight shapes. All right, so I'm going to just fill up my paper with this shape. You get the idea. And then again, think about, am I just going to do like pink, blue, red, or am I going to try and turn this into something? I don't know what that is. Maybe a fox, maybe a cat, maybe a wolf. I don't know, but it's kind of fun. So that's medium. And then let me show you hard. And I'll be honest, I messed this up the first time because it's hard. And some of you that are mathematically inclined, like math, and are good with math, this might be super easy for you. I have never been good with math, so this is a challenge for my brain, and that's totally fine. For this one, it does matter. You have to start with a square. You cannot start with a rectangle. So it says square, make sure you start with a square. And if you're wondering how to make a perfect square, you just take a shape like this. You line up this side with that side, because a square is all four sides are the same. So then we just cut this extra piece off, and we should be left with a perfect square. Voila, a square. So now what we're gonna do is, this is a rotating tessellation, so you can see that it kind of goes in a rotation. So what I'm gonna do is cut out a shape on one side, just like the last one we did. But instead of taping it across, I am going to pretend it's like the hand of a clock and just rotate it like that. And you can see up here, these directions will show you cut a shape off the top and you put it on the right hand side. So if you're not sure, it should remind you. Worst case scenario is it doesn't work and you have to take it off and tape it on a different side. Okay, next up we cut along the bottom. So here, I'll cut some funny shape on the bottom. I don't know what I'm making, we'll figure it out. So then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna rotate it like that. Up along there, and I wanna try and keep it the same distance. So I'm gonna put it up like that. Again, if some of you are like, what? Then maybe you stick to the medium or easy. And if some of you are like, this is super easy, then go for it. I would have definitely been one of the people to say, what? I do not understand this. Okay, so here is my shape. Let's see if it tessellates. I'm gonna go ahead and trace it. I really hope this works, you guys. Okay, so now this is a rotating tessellation, and what that means is instead of going straight across, that doesn't work, does it? This doesn't connect to that. It's going to rotate. So what's going to happen is I can just rotate it up and see this M shape I cut out. See, I would encourage you to cut out shapes that you can recognize easily, because this one, it helps quite a bit. If you rotate it up, there the M fits inside the other M, and now I just trace. I think it's working. I think we're going to be just fine. And then here, there's this M. I know the M needs to fit inside of that, so I can rotate it to fit in that shape. And here we go. Awesome. So we have a rotating tessellation here. Looking cool. So I can keep filling it up. And I use my piece to help guide me. What will fit in here? I'm going to look at my piece. Oh, I see these bumps right over there are going to fit right in there like a puzzle piece. Think of it like doing a puzzle. Okay, and you're going to fill up your page, and then again, you can just do random shapes and colors, designs, or you can try to figure out what this looks like. And I don't know what this looks like, but maybe I could turn it into a little guy, a little alligator or something. Who knows? We can have fun with it. So there you go. There is absolutely nothing wrong with sticking with the easy tessellation. If I were in your class, that's probably what I would have done, because this is challenging for my brain, and that's totally fine. But if you feel like you got this, you want to try the medium, go for it. And if you feel like those are both something you can handle, then maybe challenge yourself with the hard one. And then no worries, this is all recycled material, so if you don't like your piece, you're not digging how it looks, you can just restart. It's no problem. And you can always, if you're like, medium was too easy, I want to try hard, you can do that. Or if hard is too hard and you want to step it back, that's fine too. So just make it fun for yourself.